What's up everyone, it's the Martial Commander back with another Star Wars video. And as I said a couple videos ago when we went over Commander Cody being cut from Obi-Wan Kenobi, today I'm going to be going over everything else that was cut from the show. So let's hop right into it, and if you enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. So, many of you may know this, and many of you may not know this, but Obi-Wan Kenobi was actually supposed to be a trilogy before it became a TV series. The writer was Stuart Beattie, and he had pretty much everything done and planned out. Sadly though, we never got this. The reason being Solo's box office performance, which was a pretty big mistake on their part. I don't think Solo was a bad movie. It was entertaining and it had a good story. The reason it got nowhere was because no one was asking for a movie about Han Solo. No one. People have been asking for an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie for a long time. Almost everyone wants to continue exploring the Clone Wars era and our beloved characters even further. The first thing of notice that they removed was Commander Cody being a main character in this series. I have a whole video dedicated to just this topic of Cody, which I'll put in the description so you guys can easily click right over there. But to summarize it real quick, Cody was supposed to be one of the main factors in reconnecting Obi-Wan to the Force. He was supposed to be the one who watched over Luke while Kenobi was off planet, and we were also supposed to dive into his story post Order 66, eventually being told that he removed his inhibitor chip. Once again though, that's only a brief rundown. I have a whole video dedicated to Cody in the show that will be in the description, so go check it out. Next up, we're going to be going over Reva and her original role. Stuart Beattie is the creator of Reva. She was in his original scripts. That alone makes you think they should have given him credit for every episode she appeared in. Originally, she was supposed to be a former youngling who saw the Jedi as villains. Because she didn't see Darth Vader killing her friends, she saw Anakin Skywalker killing her friends, leading her into believing the lie that the Jedi were plotting to take over and that the clones stopped them. From Stuart Beattie, we have, yeah, except the only little difference in mine was she didn't know Darth Vader was Anakin. Because I was like, how'd she know that? All she saw was Anakin as Anakin because he hadn't changed in the suit yet, right? So Anakin killed her friends, put the scar on her, almost killed her, left her for dead basically. So in her mind, the Jedi Council were the biggest villains in the galaxy. She believed the lies that they were plotting a coup to overtake and get power and all that, but they were stopped by the clone. So she believed that's why she's hunting Jedi, because she believed the Jedi are the worst, basically. Personally, I believe this story would have been much better than what we got. It would have actually made sense and made Reva's reasoning so much more rational. What we actually got was just her being a hypocrite. Darth Vader killed my family, so now I'm gonna go do the same to so many others just so I can get close to him and kill him. Yeah, it didn't sit right with me, and I'm pretty sure that's what made a lot of people dislike her character. And that's coming from someone who enjoyed her by the end, and wants to see more of her. The Inquisitors were also supposed to be replaced with Stormtrooper Marshals, which would be veteran clone troopers who worked alongside Reva in hunting Jedi. It really sucks they removed them, would have been a new special forces resembling US Marshals, and it would have been so awesome to see even more clones. It's almost sad the only ones we saw were in flashbacks or decommissioned. That's not all though. Overall, I do hope we see more Reva in the future with how this ending played out, but the original ending was so much different. Reva actually died after saving Kenobi, telling Darth Vader she killed him, which led to Vader killing her, and if her arc ended there, that would have been the perfect way to do it, an honorable sacrifice to redeem herself. But, as I said, I actually enjoyed her character by the end and I hope we see more. And to cover all this, we have Stuart Beattie once again. How would she know that this thing in a mechanical suit that everyone calls Darth Vader is the guy who killed her, or tried to kill her? So it was Obi-Wan kind of letting her in on that secret and that revelation that makes her kind of go, oh my god, I've been wrong this whole time. And so she goes and basically saved Kenobi by sacrificing herself, telling Vader, I killed Kenobi. And then Vader killed her, with her, knowing that Vader would kill her. So that kind of completed her arc. So just a little bit different that she was. Yeah, absolutely. The Inquisitor hunting Kenobi all the way through and driven by her own personal demons. He then follows this with, yeah, killed by Vader at the end of it. Yeah, I wanted this story. I wanted her story to end. I wanted Reva to play her part in the Kenobi Vader story, which was essentially at the end she was the one that allowed Vader, basically told Vader to stop hunting Kenobi. You know, she ended the obsession Vader had with Kenobi. She claimed it was over. It's done. So that was her role to play. And she'd done so many terrible things. I felt she had to die. You can only redeem so much. And I 100% agree with Stuart Beattie. She's done so many hypocritical things like I said earlier, and I don't know if redemption is in her path. Though I did like the ending and I hope we see more of her eventually. But other than that, that's pretty much all of the story Reva played. She played a huge part, and in my honest opinion, her story would have been a lot better under Beattie. What do you think though? Do you want to see more of her? Did you not like her ending? Did you not like her character all the way through? I personally liked her, as I've been saying, and I don't want to see any unnecessary hate, but let me know. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about another dark side user that was scrapped. Darth Maul. Yeah, you heard that right. Darth Maul was originally planned to be in Obi-Wan Kenobi. Better yet, Ray Park was supposed to reprise the role, and he was supposed to be the main villain, replacing Darth Vader. So on one hand, I'm pretty happy about this change. No one is a better villain than Darth Vader, and he was a necessity for this show. I also loved seeing Hayden Christensen. That was my favorite parts of it. But on the other hand, what's really disappointing is there was no scene of him at all. Imagine just a brief fight or a mention of Maul as the head of Crimson Dawn. Anything would have worked. There were two reasons he was removed. Firstly, because Vader was pretty much needed for this story, as I just said. Secondly, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni were concerned the story would be too similar to The Mandalorian, with Darth Maul and the other groups such as the Inquisitors hunting down Obi-Wan Kenobi and a young Luke Skywalker. It was like Mando and Grogu being hunted down. Sadly, we don't have much more information on anything else involving Maul. Hopefully we get more so we can see what was in store for us originally. But if Darth Maul isn't your type of Sith, maybe you'd prefer Sith Luke Skywalker, because that's another thing we missed out on. The Path, the group of refugees who also protect Force sensitives who played a main part in the story, were also replaced in the original script. Instead of the Path, we were supposed to just get normal refugees who were all religious in their own way. Beattie explains it like this. Yeah, so like the show, in mine, Obi-Wan falls in with refugees that are fleeing the Empire, and he's helping get the refugees out away from the Empire and luring Vader away and all that kind of stuff. So I had all that stuff in mind, and the one thing that I love that I wish they kept in the show was the refugees had their own religion, right? And a goddess that they said controlled all life basically. And what you'd come to realize is, oh, this is the Force. It's just they don't call it the Force, they call it the goddess. After this, we were supposed to get some scenes with a woman named Teo, who I assume was either replacing Tala or Roken. Teo is the leader of these refugees, where she takes Kenobi to a shrine and gives him a vision, almost like a flashback to Mustafar. While on Mustafar, he sees what he believes is Anakin with a red lightsaber, but it's revealed to be Luke Skywalker, who would just be Mark Hamill de-aged. They get into a duel, and this makes Obi-Wan realize if he keeps throwing his guilt upon this child, he will end up a Sith just like his father. Once again, Stuart Beattie's words go as follows. And they take the lead refugee woman. Her name was Teo. She takes Obi-Wan to their sacred shrine and says, "Put your hands on here and close your eyes and concentrate and let the goddess talk to you," which is basically the Force. And so Obi-Wan does it, and when he opens his eyes, he's on Mustafar, and it's like, whoa, 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 how I get here? And he sees a guy in a dark robe with a red lightsaber, and he's like, Anakin, Anakin, Anakin. And as the guy in the robe comes up, he lifts his lightsaber. You see, it's Luke, Mark Hamill, 19. And so Luke attacks him. Obi-Wan and Luke had this lightsaber battle in mind, which was mirroring, of course, Empire Strikes Back. So it was that kind of thing that ends with, Luke just almost killing Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan is snapping out of the, the vision, basically, but it's a vision of the future. If Obi-Wan keeps training Luke and putting all his guilt on this kid, Luke's gonna turn to the dark side. So it's one of those moments that makes Obi-Wan realize, I've got to let this go because this is the future I'm headed on right now. Luke is going to become a Sith and try to kill me on Mustafar at some point. So I love that. I love bringing in Luke, and this was before they brought back Luke in The Mandalorian. We were gonna be the first to do that, which would have been really fun and a nightmare. Yeah, that's probably the one I miss. Other than Cody, I feel like this is the biggest thing we missed out on. Maybe even bigger. I mean, imagine seeing Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker again. But he's not the normal Luke Skywalker we all know and love. He's a dark side Luke Skywalker. I think it'd be super awesome to see him with a red lightsaber and battling Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan. Could have been the coolest vision ever. I can't believe they removed this. I really can't. It could have been spectacular, even better than the Mandalorian cameo. Then finally, if all this serious stuff isn't for you and you're looking for fun scenes, we missed out on those too, sadly. I covered this scene in my Cody video, but we were supposed to get scenes with Cody and Owen protecting Kenobi and Luke from bounty hunters who figured them out. Where do they get rid of bodies on Tatooine though? they have to go to the local Sarlacc pit. While doing this, some other people pull up, and everyone draws their guns thinking it's going to be a fight. But then they open their trunk, revealing they're just here to throw some stormtroopers in. Oh yeah, and to add some even more humor, this scene involved a very drunk Jawa. Once again, here's BD's description of this scene. The fun one that I missed the most was actually a scene back on Tatooine with Cody. My Cody was so fun. Cody was with Owen and there was some bounty hunters that had discovered Obi-Wan. And they got to get rid of the bodies. And so there was just this really fun scene where, you know, what do you do with bodies on Tatooine and you need to get rid of them? Well, you go out to the local Sarlacc, right? They kind of park and they're having this whole discussion about, you know, Cody shooting Obi-Wan and all this kind of stuff. But as they're doing it, they're just tossing these bodies into the Sarlacc pit. And the Sarlacc's eating them, right? In the middle of doing this, this other speeder comes up and they get their guns ready. And these guys see them and they're like, everyone's like frozen, like, are we gonna kill each other? But then these guys open their trunk and they've got stormtroopers that they want to throw in the Sarlacc. And so they start throwing. As a third thing, this massive speeder comes up and this massive door opens and you expect this massive alien to come out to dump a body. But instead, it's a very drunk Jawa. Comes tumbling out, opens the back door of the speeder. It's a massive dead alien in there. He's like shoving the dead alien down there and he's drunk, burping and wasted, and I called him Bad Jawa. So that was always a really fun thing that I just wish we'd been able to do, because the fun side of Tatooine, right? Yeah, little moments like that. That would have been a really fun scene to see. I'd even say it sounds like it could have been the funniest scene in any Star Wars content. Even if it wasn't Cody and Owen and was someone else, it'd be hilarious. I can't believe they removed this or didn't at least replace it with 2 other characters. But anyways, that's all for the video. Let me know what all of you think about this cut stuff in the comments. Is there any changes you would have liked to see or wouldn't have liked to see? I personally would have wanted to see all of these except for Maul replacing Vader. But I really wish we got Cody, an even better story for Reva, and the funny scenes with Owen and Cody being bros. Sadly though, we didn't, and we'll probably never get to see Stuart Beatty's full vision, which is a bummer. But if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you all in the next one. May the Force be with you.
Looks like we got ourselves a batch of shinies, Commander. It's shiny and new, just like you.
I have to admit that without the clones it would not have been a victory.